Hi, my name is Daryl Banterful. I am the owner and founder of Webbound Marketing, an Amazon marketing studio, and I'm your Amazon expert, giving you all the tips and tricks you need to know in order to grow on Amazon. So, just to give you a little insight about what I'm currently doing, I'm getting ready to do an audit. And because I need content for social media and also because I need training material for my team, figured why not record myself doing an audit so you can see how I do it from top to bottom. I don't have anything prepped. I literally just have record. I'm going to screen share, and you're going to see me in real time uh, audit this listing. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right. And before I get started, I'm going to test to make sure that my screen share is working because I made a video last week and the screen share wasn't recorded. So give me a second and I'll be right back. All right, it worked. So let's go ahead and get into it. So as you can see, I am looking up garden veggie straws. Just for some insights, if you're kind of new to Amazon, all of these placements here, so like this picture with these 3 images, along with these 4 products here, are all sponsored, which means that they're all ads. Since I'm working with brand, I'm not going to click on these, and that's something that I always want to tell like my team and even the brands that I'm working with. Like, hey, if you see sponsored for your product, don't click on that. Click on another listing that doesn't say sponsored. So if we're looking here, we see this 24 bag is not sponsored, so I'm going to click on that. It also is going to be their top performing product, or at least it's indexing as number 1 for their brand name garden veggie straws. So for me, if I don't have the full kind of context of if it's a core SKU or not, I always just do a search of either the brand name or of the product name and see what shows up and click on the first one because that's going to be the one that's going to be driving the most traffic anyway. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm signed into Helium 10 here. It's a great tool as well because you can see some of these higher performing or like high level insights. You can see the categories that it's in. You can see the 30-day revenue, units sold, current rating. You can also analyze reviews, get a listing score health, which is what I use for kind of quick view things. So if we're looking here, images, background, all that fun stuff. Looks like the main thing that we're missing is a title that exceeds 150 characters. Something that has been updated with Amazon's not terms of service guidelines as far as titles go is they are limiting it to 200 characters, and you're not allowed to use a lot of different symbols or, I guess symbols, icons, whatever you want to call it. Special characters. That's the word I was looking for. Special characters in your titles anymore, unless it's part of your brand title. So that's just something to think about whenever you are making these updates, is just make sure you're up to date with any of Amazon's guidelines for any of the product listings. So first things first, whenever I look at a listing, I'm going to go ahead and sign into Helium 10, check these things, check the score 9.5 like I did here, and then see, okay, the biggest thing that's taken away from our score is going to be our title. And honestly, if we get that title up to that 150 mark, we should get a perfect 10 score, which is the goal. I can also see our keywords. So this is going to help me see what keywords are generating sales for the products. So then I'm looking here. So for instance, these are the keywords that have led to sales for this product for garden veggie straws. Something I like to do is just see, are all of these terms based on search volume, or are they all in the title? So is veggie straws, is chips, healthy snacks for kids? If any of these can be put in the title, I do want to start with seeing, okay, where are opportunities as far as the titles go? So looking at the search term volume, 10.5 thousand for veggie straws, that's great. We're definitely keeping that in. Healthy snack for kids, 7.5 thousand. The search volume trend is down 10%. Something to prepare for is we know that we're going to be into spring, summer here in a few months. And it does take a little bit for your keywords to start indexing. So you're going to want to make your updates, at least a month in advance. I like to do them quarterly. So I'm going to start prepping our listings for spring, summer terms. That way, by the time the season hits, we're getting things going. And knowing that we're in January 1, or at least the first or the beginning of the month, the beginning of the year, things like healthy snacks stuff are going to be super trendy. And so we just want to double check to see, are there any missed opportunities here that we're not seeing or we're not capitalizing on? So gluten-free chips, there's only 2,000 searches there. It's not too crazy, but it is going up 8% or has gone up 8% the last few days. But overall, that's just something that I do, but I won't get too into the details as far as like title optimization. Right now, we're just going to do an audit. So I'll show you what I look at and what I would do to help improve those things. So like I said, first things first, that title, definitely want to make it at least 150 characters. if we're looking here, sensible portions, garden veggie snacks, veggie straws, snack size, sea salt, 1. Like that's a lot of information, important information for the customers to know exactly what they're getting. However, there's not anything aside from veggie snacks or veggie straws that are actually indexing or like high volume terms. So that's the first thing that we're going to want to do is, double check the title and just make sure that we have some high performing, high search volume terms in there. The next step in my audit is I'm going to go ahead and check the images. I like to just do a top to bottom. So I'll start with the title, then go to the images. Looking at the images, this is pretty clear. You got the veggie straws, 24 bags in a box, multiple bags. Like this is fine. The thing that we would want to do is really blow out this image here as the main product image. So if we were to make this fill in as much of the space as possible without reaching the white edges, then we can have this box still be here, have a 24 count and a couple of different ones here. But this is one of those things where we can test to learn. We can use PickFu or run an A/B test on Amazon. So the first image we can definitely play around with. This is going to be the most important image because it also improves your click-through rate. So you want to make sure that the image that you have is captivating while also staying close to like your category standards, because you don't want to be so out of the box that people think that you're doing something out off the cuff. However, you do want to make sure that you are standing out enough for people to want to click on your product, because Amazon is a traffic game. You want to make sure that you're speaking to the computers with your SEO and your images and your content is specifically for the customers. Once they're on the page, it's like, how do we lead them to conversion? So those are the different things that you want to get into. Moving on. So the back of this, fine. Like, yeah, we need to have the nutrition facts because it is food. However, it's already over here. So like this image in itself is a waste of time. It does not add any value to the customers. The ingredients are here. So like that's definitely needed, but we can do better with this. So like we can have the ingredients down and like, why not include potatoes, sunflower oil, like all of these different ingredients that might be appealing to the customers. We want to make sure that we highlight tomato paste, beetroot powder, turmeric extract for the color. Like those are all natural colors. So you want to make sure we're highlighting that to the consumers, because that's an important thing. We're not using any red dye number 1, any yellow dye, or any of that stuff. Now going over here, let's see, garden veggie straws, sea salt, savor the crunch of the sea salt seasoned snack. This is fine. Now, the thing about it is we're not highlighting any of the value of the product. Like we have the 24 bags. So like if that's the main thing that we want to stress in this image, that's perfectly fine. But let's go ahead and make that bigger. Like no reason to have the title over again and then this catchy phrase. Like I'm not doing anything. What we can do is I'm going to take a look at some of these other ones to see if there's any call outs. Because like right now, 30% less fat. It's probably 30% less fat than your like standard potato chip or something like that. Definitely a great thing to use, even if we were to like do a competitor image of like a Lay's bag or just a bag that people are familiar with without having the full logo, and the garden veggie straws bag, and then just having, quick bullet points of like, the less, the fat content, the sodium content, things that are going to show that garden veggie straws are going to be a better option for you than potato chips. Something that better for you brands struggle with is they kind of try to lead with, our snack is so much better for you. It's so good. It's actually good for you, which is not what better for you is. Better for you is better for you. So it's a better alternative than potato chips. And so that's really what we're going to try to educate the customers on. It's better for you, not healthy for you. So those are different. A lot of people kind of look at better for you or look at veggie straws and all these organic brands and natural chips and think, oh, it's going to be better for me. It's healthy. Like I'm going to do this. It's just better than your standard potato chip. So just something to note, like when you're looking at these things, it's not because it's healthy, but because it's just a better alternative. All right. Family approved snack made with wholesome ingredients. So like certified kosher, no artificial flavors, preservatives, gluten-free, 30% less fat. Okay. So like all of these could be their own images. And knowing that we have this image and this image, and even this image, like these 3 images could be replaced with, something going about kosher. Even if we were to do family approved snack made with wholesome ingredients and kosher, like with some chips, like these are the actual chips. So like, that's cool. And then they have the 30% less fat than the leading potato chip. Our products have 7 gram versus 10 grams fat per 10 ounce serving. So again, like that information is probably important for legal. So if we were to take that side by side with the chips, that comparison's right there. And then we also just have some other things that we could add, like the sodium, stuff like that. Perfectly portioned for any occasion. So this, again, after school snack, work lunches, picnic, or party treat. The idea of this image, great. Like, yes, want to, have it applied to the consumer. However, this is not showing us any of these situations. So what we want to do here is go ahead and update the image to have a person there, maybe cut into thirds or cut into fours, and having like a kid with, after school snack, or just kid in school, someone at their work desk snacking, people at a picnic or outdoors snacking. And then we could also keep, the perfectly portioned for any occasion. But like, there's more that we can do here. Looking at all of these images, we don't have people in any of these images. People are important. People want to be able to see themselves and see others interacting with a product. So when we don't have any humanity in any of these images, it's like, sure, it's going to perform fine, but like, it could perform better. And that's what we want to do. We want to get the best performance that we can. Irresistibly country and delicious. Again, no value add. This image does not do anything other than check the box of having an image. Put some crunch in your lunch. Again, so like this, for instance, this is a great image as far as like, it has a school bag and stuff. However, we're talking about 1 ounce bags, and this is a giant bag next to a book bag. So I just want to be cautious of like some of those things. And again, same thing, 24 packs, just the title. Like, again, no value add. We could add, we have spinach, potatoes, and tomatoes here. Like, we should be using these images and this imagery throughout the listing. And then, nutrition facts important. They could do better in just having an actual PDF or image of this, and then, go ahead and add their branding colors to it to make it look appealing. This should be part of this image. It's like, this is a good example of what I was talking about, like having it in a lunchbox or something. What would make this even better is if there was a kid with their lunchbox and the snack. And I know photography is expensive, and I get that not everyone has the resources to be able to just have a photo shoot because they cost thousands of dollars. However, there are stock photos that you can try to incorporate. Like, even if your person's not holding the product, you can have the product in a corner with somebody, laughing or smiling or snacking, or in a cafeteria. Like, you can figure out some settings to place your product in to where people can build that kind of vision themselves. All right. And now let's look at the different variations. This is something else that I like to do. So we have the flavor names. That's all fine. The size is just the 1 ounce packs. Like, this is great. I like to stick to 1 to 2 levels of variations, because the more options we have, yes, you're going to have, increased reviews and increased traffic. However, it's going to make things harder for the customer to shop on. And it can get really confusing when you have, these, 6 different flavors along with 4 different sizes, because then, some sizes won't be available in some flavors, so it'll be grayed out and stuff. So it kind of just helps keep things a little streamlined to just know, okay, this is one size and these are all my flavors. Now, a bonus is in the A+ content or in your advertising, you can go ahead and add the other size options in your content so the customer is aware of the different options that they have available to them. Because maybe they don't want a 24 pack of the 1 ounce, and I literally just searched garden veggie straws, and that was the first thing that came up. So, play around with those things. Moving on, I'm not seeing, let's see, ingredients about this item. Okay. So we have our 5 bullets, variety pack options. Yeah, none of these terms. So something that I'd like to do is, when we're looking at the bullets, if I were to go here to see all keywords, I can go ahead and open this up to really view kind of exactly what we have here. We'll run this listing analyzer. It takes a little bit to load. All right, and when I go into the listing quality score too, since this is a full analysis, it even gives me a lower score, so 7.7, whereas on the actual page we're at 9.5. So let's go ahead and see exactly why that is. So we already knew about the title, the bullet points. I had a feeling bullet points didn't have enough characters because they look so small, but yeah, so bam. We don't have that. And then bullet points are not in all caps or contain icons. So that and these 2 points are super important. Or right here. Like, these, super important, because they are overlooked. You used to see this all the time, like these like first few characters capitalized. Initially, this was so that customers can see like right away, like that key takeaway. However, Amazon's cracking down on how the products are viewed customer facing. This is just to make sure everything's standardized across their platforms. Like they're really trying to make this Amazon experience a little more cohesive across all brands, all products, all categories. And so we definitely want to do that. If we were to go back over here, and I were to do a Cerebro run, so this Cerebro gets all of the top performing keywords for the product that you entered. I can go ahead and add competitor products too for the category. Since we're number one, number two in the category, I'm not going to do too much work as far as looking at what competitors are doing because we are the leading brand. So for what we're going to do is go ahead and just see, what are the big terms? What is our split? So like here we have 6.5K organic terms and 10.6 paid terms. This ratio is fine. I definitely I'm not too mad at this. We have a lot of work to do anyway. But when I'm looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and start with the search volume just to see, what terms are high volume. Food, candy, snacks, chips, Christmas clearance, cheese, apples. Like none of these terms are relevant for me. So what I'm going to do now is go up here. Let's go ahead and do the rank. So organic rank. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 to 20 since we have some pretty good performance. And again, we're leading. So let's do that. And then let's see what we have here. Okay, so I clicked enter instead of doing that, but let's see. All right, so now we have a little bit better, like veggie straws, healthy snacks for kids. These are some of the terms that we saw already. But now when we go through, I can just do kind of a quick check. Veggie straws, like, is that a term that's being used? Yes. Bam, right here. Now these say sensible portions, garden veggie snacks. These are garden veggie straws. So like that should be off. And then here we go. That leading term is going to be, one of the first terms aside from the brand name on that product. That's a missed opportunity there that we can kind of tackle. Then kind of, going over here. So the listing analyzer will give you some of the terms that have the biggest opportunity. The darker the green, the bigger the opportunity. The lighter the green, not so much. Veggie straws we own, so it's like we don't really need to worry about that. Even when we look at the top 10, it's all sensible portions aside from a Whole Foods listing. So like we're doing great as far as the veggie straw term. So I'm not too worried about that. But veggie chips, veggie sticks, like these are all terms that we could use throughout the listing. So if I were to go here, variety pack options. So like if we were to lead with the variety pack, enjoy 24-ounce veggie or 24-ounce snack size bags in a variety, blah, 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 featuring blah, blah, blah. And then here, instead of saying veggie straws, I would go ahead and say sweet and salty and zesty ranch veggie chips or veggie snacks individual bites. Like, I don't know. But all that to say is I'm going to go ahead and look through all of these terms and kind of filter out based on what I think is going to make the most sense. And kind of go from there. So looking at these, like these are all words that I definitely want to be using that if they're not brand specific. So healthy chips, veggie chips, kosher snacks, like some of these other ones. This is kind of one where the people who are looking for veggie straws are looking for veggie straws. And so how do we figure out where to capture new audiences? So it's going to be in the better for you aisle, in the snacks, people that are, workout enthusiasts and stuff. All that to say is I'll go ahead and, pull the top performing terms, or at least terms that have high volume, have a high Cerebro score, because this also kind of helps you figure out, is there a lot of competition between the amount of products that are on Amazon versus the search volume? And so this is a good way to understand. So if we're looking at search volume and looking at the Cerebro score, you kind of have a good gauge. And then one of the last things that I like to do is just look at the search volume trend, because it gives you the search trend in the last 30 days. And this just helps me understand, like, barbecue veggie straws. I believe there's a barbecue flavor. Okay, there isn't a barbecue flavor. But now I can go ahead and go to the veggie straws team and be like, hey, just so you know, there's a rise in barbecue interest if we don't have that, if we want to do a test on it. But going through like barbecue, hot, apple chips, like all these different things, whatever applies, you definitely want to make sure it's something that's applicable to your brand or your product. But this is a good way just to understand, what terms should be used. But if you're kind of just doing a pulse check, just having helium 10 and doing this, kind of gives you at least, what are the top terms. So, there are 33 top terms that have led to conversion on this product based on these terms. All right, so we checked the bullets. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and double check if there is going to be a brand story and A+ content. So they do have A+ content. We don't have a brand story. So that's something that we definitely want to take advantage of. A brand story will just help you, again, give people a feel for your brand, but also it gives you an opportunity to upsell. This is where you can add different collections. For Garden Veggie, they have chips, they have straws, like they have different kinds of snacks and flavors and sizes. So this is a perfect way to either break it up by flavor, by size, just to help, people understand, like, hey, we have some other offerings. And they do have a comparison chart down here, which is great, because then you can also see the other options here, and then you can add them directly to cart. So like this is a great tool to have. Over here, the A+ content needs to reflect your main images. So you're pretty much wanting to double down on your product features and the highlights of your product in the A+ content section. So over here, like, kid-loved taste, like, sure, like this is fine. We have a lifestyle. Like this is better than the original images up here. However, again, we're still not really selling the product. We're not showing people why they should choose veggie straws over potato chips. And so this is, again, an area where we really want to take advantage of the space, because not a lot of areas on Amazon are you able to have like fully branded content and kind of say what you want. And this is going to be an area to do that. Okay, and then last but not least is I always like to look at the reviews. You can either look at like that AI generated thing up here that you can see on Amazon, because then it kind of gives you the things that people comment on the most. But Helium 10 also has a tool where you can do like analyze reviews, and then it'll even give you like the top phrases being used, so that you can kind of have a better understanding about what is happening. You can group by keyword or by variations. That way you can kind of see, does one product perform better, have like more negative reviews than another. So when we're going here, 1 star here says, so excited to receive like unsealed product, tasted stale. Like, so these are other great opportunities to see, okay, what are customers saying? And is it a quality thing, or is it something that we can go ahead and educate the customer on to avoid these negative reviews? And so that's just something to think about. We have a lot of review. Oh, this is from 2017, so I'm not going to worry about that. That's another thing too. You want to go ahead, like it's sort of the most helpful. I'm going to do most recent because some of these things have probably already been taken care of. Bags arrived with strange taste, arrived with expired dates. Okay, so like these are things that are important for me to share with the brands, but not anything that I can add to the content. But say if there was something even positive where people are constantly saying how great it is, that's something that you would want to do and go ahead and add it to your content. But that is pretty much kind of a high level of how I like to view the Amazon audits. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all the things on whatever platform you're viewing this, because it helps me help you. Also, if you have any other questions about Amazon or want to learn kind of more of the down and dirty as far as like how I audit or what we look for, what are best practices, feel free to drop your ASIN. I can go ahead and audit your listing myself. Like you can get one of these videos directly related and talking about your specific product. With those, I also do a deep dive where I will give you a list of the terms that I would use, where to place them, all that fun stuff. So a little more in the weeds than what you saw here. But if you're interested in that, I'm very happy and willing to go ahead and do that for you. Anyhow, I don't know. Have a great day.